Hello to all my Psalms 40 um, process change groups. We are on process 6 tonight, and so we're going to be discussing secrets. We're going to be talking about those, how they affect you, how they affect your relationships, and then how they affect your relationship with God, which is probably the most important. Um, the goal of this is to after tonight, what we're hoping is when we meet together next week, that you are feeling that one, it's going to test our group, our little small change groups, to see, is this really a safe environment as we thought it was. And it's also going to test you in, do you trust people, because we cannot keep our secrets. That's what we hope you learn from this, is that you can't keep these things inside. You have to talk about them. You've got to get them out, because they're killing us. They're killing you. They're killing your relationships and your relationship with God. And so we hope, I only hope that these groups are as safe as we hope they are, as I want them to be for you guys, in order to see change. Um, so that's one thing. The other thing, obviously, is to see how powerful secrets can be in our lives, how they can impact. And so going on from there, we're going to start with, I'm going to read scripture. It's Psalms 3 and 5. It says, when I kept silent about my sin, my body wasted away through my groaning all day long. For night and day, your hand was heavy upon me. My vitality was drained away as with the fever heat of summer. Selah. I acknowledge my sin to you, and my iniquity I did not hide. I said, I will confess my transgressions to the Lord, and you forgave the guilt of my sin. Selah. And that's how quick it is and how easy it is with God. But, we tend to hold on to it and look at it from a humanistic approach where, we're not as easy to forgive. We get offended maybe and hold on to things. But God, when we let this stuff go to God, he's done right then. Doesn't want to talk about it again. He's forgiven you. It's that easy. And that should be confident. That should make you feel so good inside, because it's so freeing to know that our God will do that for us, and we're loved, and I don't have to hold on to this. It's so awesome. So how do they affect you? How do secrets affect you as a person? Well, I mean, they're destroying you. Usually secrets are, and let's go back. I'm not talking about a secret like my secret crush in junior high that I'll never tell anybody. Or, I'm saving up money to, buy my kids something for graduation or for their birthday, or, so I want to keep it a secret. That's not what we're talking about. I'm talking about the secrets that carry guilt, shame, condemnation, those carnal things that we live with, some of us, that if someone knew this secret about me, that I thought this way, that I did these things, they I, they wouldn't be my friend. They would get up and walk away. Those are the secrets I'm talking about. Okay. And they always come with a double bind, because we hold on to them and we feel like garbage, right? And we let's talk about it. We get anxious, we get nervous, we might even get angry. We start to get angry with people because and busy. We don't want to, we want to work and just keep this thing out of our mind. We can become very critical. We can become very critical, maybe even about areas in that area. Secret people who deal with things like pornography, they tend to be so against it out in public or speak against it, yet they're dealing with it themselves. So we could be overcritical, over judgmental, controlling. That's not, it's stress, anxiety. That is what 80% of people come to see psychiatrists about and doctors. It's this huge thing, anxiety. And some of it, most of it, probably is due to some sort of a secret, right? It's a double bind, because we have this thing that we're doing, or this thing that we have secretly, whether it's our past or something we're doing actively that we don't want to talk about. But we know that if we talk about it, this might happen. This person would know. It could cost my marriage. It could cost my friends. It could cost relationships. And so we stick with this rock in a hard place, and we live in anxiety, and we live with this absolute exhausting day of waking up with a mask on our face. And it just takes everything that we have in us to get through a day. because we are not who we really are. We are hiding it. It's exhausting. Okay. And so a lot of times these examples of secrets that I'm talking about are things like lying, procrastination, relationships or guilt around relationships, unforgiveness, dishonesty, anger, resentments, judgments, unbelief, abuse, um, food, sex, addiction, drugs, alcohol. Keep going and keep going. Um, it's stressful to hold on to this stuff. And every time in recovery, I've seen somebody go into relapse. It starts with a secret. It starts with a thought in their head about using, and they don't tell anybody. And then as they're, one day they're driving past that street where their dealer lived or where they used to go get some whatever, meet up with their friends. They just kind of think and they go down that path and they don't tell anybody, right? And it just keeps moving over time, closer and closer, and they relapse. When it could have been stopped ahead of time if somebody held them accountable, if they felt safe to tell somebody and confess it and go from there and create a plan. That's the big thing here with us, you guys. Healthy people aren't perfect. I love the book. It says that healthy people are able to tell you what they're working on and they have a plan to get there. That's healthy, knowing how you're going to do it. And that's why every week, in and out, we're doing these double binds and we're trying to get you to create a plan to get you out of that situation, to move you toward, the right way to get out of that. So we're going to continue on to secrets and how they affect your relationships with others. So we know what we're going to feel like, and we do, some of us know what it feels like to hold on to secrets. It's not great. Your relationships with others, though, you can become very isolated and busy, keeping yourself busy because you don't really want to let anybody in to get to know you to where you may feel vulnerable to share. And so you isolate yourself. And so your relationships are going to be very superficial. And people around you, you're not going to know them and they're not going to know you. And you may know each other and talk on a very superficial level, but there's not going to be a lot of trust built up with other people because you don't want to go there. You also tend to be, I'm talking about people that the relationships, because we tend to be um, angry a lot, projecting our issues and our anxiety onto others. We can be overcritical, and a lot of times we're very controlling. We're just trying to keep a cap on this secret. And so we try to control everything around us. And I'm speaking from somebody who deals with control. And control comes from fear, primarily fear. It's absolutely 100% fear. And so, fear of being known, fear of this coming out. I don't know, but your relationships tend to be very superficial, or people have stepped back or will step back from you in fear of just the intimidation that gets set off. They're not going to, um, you're just not going to have a lot of people around you. Weak relationships. It's not something we want. And how does it affect your relationship with God? So secrets, it obviously we know it's not going to be a good thing, right? We talk to God. We're supposed to talk to God, and He talks back to us. And we don't just talk to Him and tell us, "Here's all the things going on with me," and expect it to end there. If you have a relationship with anybody, it's two ways. I talk to my daughter. We go back and forth. I ask her a question. She answers me, right? She comes to me with a need. I answer her, and hopefully I meet that need. It's a relationship. It goes back and forth. And the same thing with God. It's no different. So when we go to God in prayer, He most likely is going to talk to you about your secrets, because secrets, again, are those things that we know we shouldn't be doing, watching, saying, right? Smoking, eating, whatever it is. He's going to talk to you about those. And if we try to shut it down, if we try to cut it off, we're going to cut off. He's doing it because He loves us and He wants the best for us. And we're going to cut that off, and we're going to numb His voice, and we're going to walk the way we want to walk because we don't like how God wants us to really fix it because it hurts God. And what we find is that we will walk further and further away from His protection, and we won't hear Him. And I can't afford to be without hearing the voice of God. I don't want that in my life. And so when He convicts you at the altar, or when He convicts you wherever you're at in prayer about that thing, That's his love. That's him saying, we've got to fix this. You've got to have faith in me. If you don't have faith that God's going to do this, he's going to fix this, that he's going to help you to move from this sin and move from this secret, then you don't have faith in him. Then in Romans 14 and 23, it says, that which is not faith is sin. A straight up. It's not good. It's sin. It's evil. It's not good. You've got to trust him. That's what you're saying when you don't listen to him. That's what you're saying when you hear what he's saying, but and you give him the but back, right? Like your protection, but this is keeping me safe, but they did this to me, but I don't agree with them. And so it will weaken his voice to us. And he's a gentleman. He's not going to force himself on us. He's not going to yell at us. He's going to let us do what we think we know what we're doing. And until we reach that point of an all-time low, a pit. And he'll pull us out when we're ready, when we holler for him, when we cry out to him. But we don't want to get there anymore. We want to listen to the voice of God. Okay? We cannot afford to lose that ability. And we can do it in the church. It's not just those people that are just coming in here or those that aren't in church. Church members, we do it. We do it, and we think it's okay because we are in ministry, and I go to church and I pray. I do my routine. I get up and I worship and I raise my hands up and I sing, and my daughter's in this, and my daughter's in the choir, and my daughter's in what were you in that one time? I don't know. Whatever. I forgot the name of it. She was in something though. And a media team and this. I got this Psalms, and I can focus on my ministry and what I'm doing and say, I'm good. I don't have any issues. I don't have any secrets. And the whole time God's like, absolutely not. And Jesus talks about this, the Pharisees, the legalistic ways, it was so easy for them to point the finger and say, well, we're doing things right because look at us. But this book points out, it says, talking about the Pharisees, it says, but they were full of secrets, self-righteous, hyper-controlling legalism, perfectionism, accusations, slander, and fears. So we need to keep that two-way relationship open with God. If he's telling you something, write it down and figure out a plan on how to do that. We can't ignore it, because if you're just letting it go one way, that's just religion. And that's, I don't think, what anybody wants with God. I want a relationship. So I pray that you guys have a great week. I plead the blood over everybody. I know this is kind of a really, hard issue for those. The last couple of weeks have been very deep. But know this, God has so many plans to take you and bring you out of this pit, to move us forward into his calling. And so I just pray again that you guys have a blessed week. All right. Thank you.